Welcome to the Retiremax software tutorial. This Wi-Fi-based software opens to the data input page. If you tap on the drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner, you'll notice that the data input page is the first tab that appears in the drop-down menu. Before entering information into the data input page, I suggest you go to the My Retiremax tab and enter your personal information, as we will do in this tutorial. The My Retiremax tab allows you to personalize Retiremax by inputting your personal information. You can also enter your broker-dealer disclosure in the Advisor Personal Disclosure section. This disclosure will carry over to each tab in the software. This page also becomes your title page if pages are printed or sent as a PDF. As I tap on the Data Input tab at the very top center, there's a little orange and white pencil. If you tap on that pencil, a pop-up notepad appears that allows notes to be made for that tab. This note option is located on each tab in the software. In the Data Input tab, make sure to enter the data accurately to ensure that all of the later calculations are based on correct information. You can input data into any cell that is white in color. Under Client Information, the cells have been pre-populated. If you want to include a spouse's information, notice next to the client at the top, there's a little plus sign. You can tap on that, and the spousal column will drop down, and you can enter the data for the spouse. The date of birth is a scroll that allows you to easily put in the date of birth. Under the Paycheck Information, please note that this is information taken from the actual paycheck. The difference between pay periods per year and pre-tax per year is that some employers do not withhold all of the pre-tax deductions for each pay period. For example, if the employer is on a monthly pay cycle but withholds the pre-tax deductions over 10 months, a 12 and 10 would be used. Otherwise, a 12 and 12 would be inputted. Typically, the number of pay periods and the pre-tax per year will be the same. Directly under the gross pay cell, there are two orange tabs. The left one is for the client, and the other is for the spouse. Just tap on the orange tab, and it will rotate between the different deductions. 403B, 457, 401k, and IRA for both client and spouse. Directly under the pension cell, there are two additional orange tabs. The left one is for the client, and the other is for the spouse. Just tap on the orange tab, and it will rotate between the different deductions. Roth 403B, 457, 401k, Roth, NQ investment, and 529 for both client and spouse. Be sure to enter in the paycheck information as accurately as possible. If you don't want to enter the miscellaneous after-tax deductions from the paycheck, you don't need to. The software will automatically put the correct amount into Other because the net paycheck amount has been entered, and it will calculate the difference for that cell. Under the 1040 tax information, you can tap and scroll for the correct filing status. The total number of exemptions cell should be the number of dependents being claimed. The tax credits, for example, may be the 16 and under child tax credit or educational credits. The dollar amount entered equals the amount of credits. I'll input $2,000 into the cell for the two children my client has that are 16 and under. This cell could also be used for any other tax credits your client might have available to them. The standard itemized deduction line is for the total itemizations or the standard deduction. The standard deduction amount appears in the cell. However, you can override that amount and input your own number as long as the number is greater than the standard deduction. Notice when doing so, the standard deduction orange box appears, and if you tap that box, it will automatically put in the current tax year's standard deduction in the cell. If you input a number less than the standard deduction, for example, $500, it will automatically input the standard deduction. In our example, we're going to use $15,000 of itemizations. In the W-4 information section, the marital status needs to be entered. The software then calculates and populates the allowances and additional cells. When you enter the paycheck information, it automatically calculates the W-4 information and the allowances and additional cells. If these numbers are different from the pay stub, do not adjust their W-4. Typically, when entering the paycheck information, the cents of the numbers are rounded. In doing this, it could cause the W-4 to be off a little. For example, the difference between single 1 plus $50 and single 0 is just $1 of federal tax. At first appearance, the difference seems to be very big, but in reality, it's only $1. Do not use refund or change the W-4 if the software's W-4 numbers are different from what's on the paycheck. And note, if these figures are different, it won't affect any other calculations in the software.